everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and today I want to talk about a project that I'm giving myself this year, which is to read my unread Stephen King novels. I have been a fan of Stephen King since I was like 11 or 12. I think that was when I read my first King book. And I've been reading his stuff ever since. I've called myself a fan of his work for many years, and I have still yet to complete reading his work. And you know, I don't think in general that I need to read everything an author has written necessarily to be a fan, but you know, it's nice to be able to say, oh, I've read everything he's ever written, which, to be fair, Stephen King has written a lot of things. So, and I've read a fair bit, and you can go check out my video where I ranked all of the Stephen King books that I've read. And I have read a lot, but I've also not read a lot. So I thought, you know what would be kind of fun is to just work my way through the things that I haven't gotten to yet. Because, like, it's hard to pick up something like that when I have so many other things to read. Like, it's hard to go back and read backlist stuff when you're trying to like read arcs and new releases and find new authors to enjoy. So like, I feel like I've gotten in a weird place where I just like have not read much Stephen King the last several years. Like, I picked up a few, but there's just so much that I haven't gotten to yet. So I thought today in this video I would just run through the books that I haven't read yet. And I don't think I've written these down in like exact publishing order, but I've tried to come close to that. So starting with, I don't think I've read like almost any of the Bachman books besides, was The Long Walk a Bachman book? I think I read that one. So I haven't read Rage, and I don't really know what it's about. I haven't read Roadwork, and I have not read The Running Man. Those are all books that he wrote under his Bachman, a pen name, and I don't really know a whole lot about those. So I think I own all three though. I have not read Cycle of the Werewolf, but I have watched Silver Bullets several times. It's one of Regina's favorites, and we did buy her an illustrated copy of this book, and I was like, oh, I should read that. So that's definitely one I want to prioritize getting to, just because I've seen the movie so many times and I would love to compare and see if the book is better. Then The Talisman with Peter Straub. I have no idea what that one is. The Eyes of the Dragon is one that I am very leery of because I don't enjoy his Dark Tower books, and I will not be reading those. Like, I've tried, and I'm moving on. And this one feels like it might be within that same style, and I don't know if I'm gonna want to do that. So this one I'm on the fence. I may leave this one alone. Let me know what you think. If you've read the Dark Tower books, how similar is the Eyes of the Dragon to that? Do you think I should skip it? I have not read Dolores Claiborne, and this is one that so many of you have told me I should pick up. So like, I want to prioritize that. I don't actually know a whole lot about what it is. I think I remember seeing the movie, but I was very young at the time and I don't really remember it. Just that Kathy Bates is in it. And it had something to do with like murdering her husband or like something like that. And I also want to say that I remember somebody saying once that it is connected story-wise with Gerald's Game, which I have read. So that makes me curious. Like, I think it had to do with the eclipse or something. Okay, then Rose Madder, I have not read. I don't think I own that one. That may be one of the few that I don't have a copy of. And I also don't really know what it's about. I have both Desperation and The Regulators, which I know are twin novels, which I've always found really intriguing, but I think that also makes me not want to pick it up because that's committing to two books. Like, you have to read both, I guess, and I'm terrible when it comes to reading series. Like, I always start a series and then never finish. So knowing that that's a twin situation that you need to read both makes me a little bit but maybe it's worth it. I have not read Bag of Bones. Is that short stories? I don't remember what Bag of Bones is. I'd have to look that up later. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is one that I have started and DNF'd twice. And I don't think it's necessarily that I don't like the story. I think it's just been one of those cases of not in the mood. So I'm hoping that I can make that happen because, like, it bothers me that I've never finished it. Dreamcatcher is on my list, but I really don't know if I want to read it. Like, it's one of those situations where, like, the beginning of that book messed me up too much and I don't want to continue it, but also people have said that it's worth it if I stick it out. And I know it's got stuff to do with dairy, which makes me want to keep going, but I'm so not sure. I'm really not sure. Like, the beginning of that book made me so upset that I had to, like, not literally put it in the freezer, but, you know, metaphorically, I had to go hide the book because I just did not want to deal with that anymore. Black House is another one I don't think I have a copy of. And I don't really know what that one is either. I have a copy from a Buick 8 and I started reading it once and did not finish it. And I think that was when I had fractured my tailbone for like the third time and I was stuck in bed and I tried to read it and I just like could not focus on it. And I DNF'd it and it's always bugged me because I was enjoying the story for what it was, but I don't remember any of it. But like that's one I've wanted to get back to. Lissy's story is one that I have not read and have been intrigued by, but it's also one that I am the least interested in, which is a weird thing to say if I'm intrigued but also not interested because I've heard it's really slow. And I'm not sure I want to read that, but maybe it's worth it. Let me know what you think. I have not read Blaze. Don't really know what that is. Have not read Duma Key, but I almost picked it up several times from the library because I don't own a copy. I don't own Blaze either. And I haven't read Mr. Mercedes, but Mr. Mercedes, Finders Keepers, End of Watch, I have not read any of those, and I'm really not sure I'm interested because those are all like crime novels, and that is not a thing I typically enjoy. So they're on my list, but I'm really not interested. I haven't read Revival fully. I've started it and DNF'd it, but I think it, again, was a case of not in the mood for that right now. So I'd like to get back to that because I have heard mixed things about it and I'm curious about where I would fall. I haven't read Sleeping Beauties. I'm pretty sure I own it though. But that one is in the realm of like the fantasy stuff that I'm not sure I would like. I haven't read The Outsider, but is one I'm definitely curious about because I know it's been adapted for TV and I've almost put that on twice and I was like, no, I want to read it first. So I'm going to have to make myself read it so that I can watch it. I haven't read Billy Summers, but I think is Billy Summers in the same realm as Mr. Mercedes and Finders Keepers and that stuff? Because if it is, it's on my list of no. I don't know yet. Let me know your thoughts on that. Like, I don't like crime novels, like police procedural type. Like, I'm not interested in detective stories or any of that. Like, that's just not a thing I enjoy. So is it worth picking those up, or am I just not going to get into that at all? I don't know yet. I haven't read Fairy Tale, but it's definitely one I'm curious about. It's another one of those fantasy ones that, like, I'm not sure how I will feel about it, which is why it hasn't been read yet, because I hated the Dark Tower series so much that I've just been kind of scared off of Stephen King's fantasy. I have Holly, but I don't know what I need to read before I can read that, because I know there's like a bunch of things that involve this character. And I feel like they might fall under the crime novel stuff, which makes me not sure about reading it. I have not read Hearts in Atlantis. And I feel like that might have been one I started and DNF'd at some point, but I don't really remember. I haven't read, and I think these are all short story collections. I haven't read Everything's Eventual, Just After Sunset, or have I read Just After Sunset's one? I'm not sure now. I thought I read it and then I looked at it and was like, have I read this? So that's when I need to start and see if it's familiar. I haven't read The Bizarre Bad Dreams. I haven't read If It Bleeds or You Like It Darker, which is his newest one. So I have a lot that I need to read. I also really wanted to do some rereads this year. Specifically, I want to reread The Stand because it's been decades since I've read it. And I've called it my favorite Stephen King book for years, but like, is it? Because I don't remember like a lot of the details of it, so I really want to read it and see if it still holds up for me. Plus there's a short story collection coming out later this year that are all stories like inspired by The Stand from like a whole bunch of different horror authors, so I'm really excited about that collection. So I really wanted to read The Stand again before I read that. So I have a lot of Stephen King to get to. I think I will be kicking off my Stephen King series reading Dolores Claiborne because that's the one that right now I am the most interested in picking up. I think it's gothic and I would very much like to read that. I've heard so many people say that I would like it, so that's where I'm feeling called right now. So I think I'm going to read Dolores Claiborne hopefully this month, and I think what I'll do is make like mini reading vlogs where I'm reading the Stephen King books I haven't read yet. So that's the plan anyway. So let me know in the comments if any of these are your favorite Stephen King and what you think based on my reading taste and what you know about me, what you think I should prioritize. Because obviously if I haven't read it, it's because I've either just not gotten there or been leery of it. So let me know what you think I would enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.